Okay, YouTube, we're going to review how I did my basement at my Waterford house. Basement and garage. Had a 1,000 square foot basement broken up into 3 rooms. Had a 325 square foot garage. And this is about the 8th or 10th epoxy floor I've put down. This is going to be the better product. Rust-Oleum Rocksolid Polycuramine floor coating kit. 2-part epoxy comes in a bag. It's a very small amount that comes in the bags. That makes it very difficult to spread out over 500 square foot. It's supposed to, out of a small bag. I'd say maybe it's a half-gallon product. It's the only thing I didn't like about it. Came out fantastic. Awful lot of work. I'll try to show you in my other videos. I'll show you my 10-year-old floors and how they have held up or not held up. They've done okay. Usually the cheaper epoxy floors have lasted me about 5 years. In my heavy use garage, you'll see I'll try to put some pictures on how it's pretty much gone now. We're going to redo it soon here again. But this is many hours of prep. To do this right, you're going to want to rent the Dyma brush from Home Depot. About $150 for 24 hours. Remember, you can rent that for like a week. I think once you rent it for 3 days, you get it for the whole week. Double check those rates so you don't rush. But Dyma brush, we used Quikrete concrete resurfacer to level out the floors, fill the pits, small cracks, small blemishes, small low spots. So we ground, we power washed, we squeegeed, we broomed, we etched. You can use the citric acid etcher they give you in the Rust-Oleum box, or you can get muriatic acid, works much better. You can have some good ventilation, some rubber gloves, don't throw it in your eyes, but I think muriatic acid worked a bit better when we tried it. I should have used bonding primer. I was a little too impatient, didn't want to roll that out and wait for it. Don't know why I didn't use that. I should have. I mean, if you prep your concrete good, you'll get good adhesion anyway, which I did. But if I did it again, next time I'm going to use the bonding primer before I use the concrete recap. I used it in spots, and I could tell it really made it bond a lot better. So to fully do the job, you can Dyma brush it, etch it, use the bonding primer, then go with the Quikrete recap resurfacer. Let that dry for I think a day. Come back, you're probably going to want to scrape it, broom it, vacuum it, sweep it, blow it. Make sure there's no loose dust or bumps anywhere. Then you can go to your Rust-Oleum Rocksolid Polycuramine 2-part floor coating kit. Roll it down. You'll see the differences in my color, sheen, just by the difference in the amount of product I put down. Like right here, I put it down thick. You gotta calculate as you go. It's supposed to cover 500 square foot. So once you do 100 square feet, you can kind of see how much product you've used up. If you got money to blow, I would probably put it down thicker, maybe even double the rate. If I had lots of money, I would put it this room right here. That's where I put it down thick. I get the best coverage. This room right here, I used the primer. You'll see in the video. So we didn't scuff all the old epoxy floor up. And we used the primer. The product worked excellent. It's really cheap. Seemed to work very well bond. And then we got an even, nice top coat. Sheen came out a lot better. So the overall success of the job was fantastic. I learned a lot in it. So if you take the time, you're going to do a big project like this, go ahead, take the time to watch my video, learn from my mistakes. I'll show you all the detail I can, what the good and the bad. I don't know everything. I'll know everything by tomorrow, but as of today, I still need to YouTube it. So let's go through. I've got lots of pictures, everything I did, and the walls. I learned bin shellac is where it's at. And that's still an oil-based, stinky shellac-based primer. That's what you want. It's getting more and more expensive. Get it before the EPA bans it. Everything's water-based now for environmental purposes or health purposes. Forget that. I want products that work. Bin shellac is where it's at. It bonds and covers everything. Oil-based products work better than water-based products. Mainly, I still want to use those. I don't care about my health. I'm not using it every day. If you're using it every day, you got to take more precautions. But while we were in this basement, I had the tube-type fan up in one window blowing in with fresh air, and then I had a high-speed fan zip-tied up right next to the window on the other side of the basement blowing out. So I had a good ventilation program going on. We used lots of chips. I recommend lots of chips. It helps with traction. My 5 Mile house, I put a nice coat down with a nice clear coat and didn't use the sand and didn't use too many chips. Oh my land, when water got on that, it was an ice skating rink. I was horrified. If I had time to do it again, I would literally sand it and put another clear coat with sand in it and would have fixed it. But what else can I tell you? This is the room. I did not use primer, so you'll see the differences in the sheen and the colors. Now, part of that was problem of the product in that square right there. That the next package just didn't have the same color as this other stuff I put down. So we used, you're going to need a lot of tools, power washers, hoses, scrubbing brushes, brooms, blowers, scrapers, sponges, lots of terry cloth towel rags, torch. That was our biggest gain. It took me a second. I used a propane torch around the edges, and then a weed burning big propane fire torch to dry out this wet basement floor. It's a great designed house. I'll never have a foundation problem, never crack the walls. It's designed to let the water go down under the floor, and then it goes into the sump pump, shallow wells, and then gets pumped out way down to the bottom of the yard. So I like the design. It's called a Michigan wet basement. It allows the water to go into the floor and then into the shallow well pumps. You'll see over the progression, I rented the diamond brush once. It didn't do the whole job. Rented it again. Got tore up. I think I must have got it a third time. Used floor stripper with the diamond brush and finally did it right and prepped the whole job as best as humanly possible. I just should have used, right here, I should have used the concrete primer, concrete bonding primer. Rolled that on, you wait 2 hours, then you put your Quickcrete resurface over. But it came out okay. Boy, those walls look perfect. We did a great job painting the walls. Look at that plumbing. Like a master amateur do-it-yourselfer installed that PVC plumbing right from the top of his head. No training. Very little experience. Done some smaller jobs. I've done PEX jobs before. But God, I did a good job on that plumbing. Knocked out the entire house. We did it all. It just clicked. All of a sudden, I got plumbing in my head, and I'm like, I don't need to do what they did before. I don't need expert help. Shut the heck up. Watch. It's very easy. Boom, 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 boom. That's a work of art. $10,000 job for whatever. I wish I got the receipt somewhere. Maybe $1,000 material. So I did this epoxy floor 20 years ago when I bought the house. 15, 20 years ago. I did the epoxy floor. Did okay. Did not clear coat it. At that time, I just washed, degreased, power washed, put the epoxy floor down. Here's what you need to do a better job. Floor polisher from Home Depot. It's $50 for that for 24 hours. And then you'll see the Diamond Brush disc That's a disc you put on this. It's got basically diamond encrusted little sandpaper sheets on the bottom that scuff your floor up real good. You want to scratch that concrete up, get a 120 grit feel to the concrete. That'll give your floor coating something to grip to. So we're going to put water down on the floor, and you'll see me sprinkle the citric acid based weaker Rust-Oleum white bags of citric acid concrete etcher. And you can put that in a flower pot and sprinkle it down, let it sit, and then brush it and rinse it off. Or we just sprinkled it down. Then I went with a dimer brush, really scrubbed it in there. And you'll see the bubbles at certain part. You can use a shop vac to bring up the water. You can squeegee it out. You can rinse it out. You can power wash it out. If you're going to get a power washer, get the biggest, rent the biggest one Home Depot's got. We got a 4,400 PSI power washer. You gotta have 4,000 and up. It's just got to. I've tried the 2,800 to 3,200. Doesn't do it. It's not gonna cut it. 4,000 PSI will 2 inches away from that concrete will blast that concrete, that top surface. It'll make it get any of that loose stuff off, so you get a good prepped surface. Here's the citric acid based concrete etcher. It does okay. You can go forever and a day to prep. I mean, you could just sweep it and throw your stuff down if you want, and you'll see what happens. It won't do good, but prep as long as you got time and money available. Prep. You will be happy if you spend that extra day of prep. Your surface is going to last maybe 10 years longer. So just try to convince yourself, take that a little extra time. I know it's a struggle, but prep is everything for these concrete floors. This is a 320 square foot garage, and I think we went through 4 bags of that etcher stuff. I use 1 bag per slab, and basically on this garage we did an hour of dimer brushing at a time. Did an hour one time, and then did the resurfacer, and I had to scratch it off. You'll see me test it, and I took the time to scratch it back off because I didn't like the bonding. I should have used the primer, the bonding concrete primer. It's almost like Elmer's glue. So here I'll go over at least kind of 2, 3, 4 passes in each spot of concrete. And this is the first time I did this, or the second time? Probably the first time. I think I forgot to video me putting down the recap resurfacer. There's the bubbling. That's what you want to see. It'll be kind of eating the concrete, etching into the concrete, making it a rough surface, cleaning it really good. Here's the first pass. The first night I rented the dimer brush. Now, this is 2 coats of epoxy that was on this floor. 20 years ago I put it down, and then I had a contract that was terrible. Just terrible. I hate paying anybody else to do anything because they're just going to mess it up, and then I got to come back and do it right. I'm a diehard do-it-yourselfer. I just want to do it myself. I want to do it right. Here's the dimer brush. $50 for the floor polisher, and I think we take a look at the disc here. Here's the little, basically sandpaper blades in the bottom. And what I did forget to do, I think Home Depot discourages this, but if you need to, you can throw 30 or 50 pound bag of sand on top of that, and you can imagine that'll cut a little better, because this is 8 hours worth of work. 2 hours per room, 2 hours in the garage, 2 hours in this room, 1 hour in each of the other smaller rooms, but wouldn't cut it all. Should have put 50 pounds on top and probably would have cut it a little better. I eventually got it all up. You've seen in the other videos. I think this is out of order a little bit, so I'll try to re-edit, but I'm not an expert video editor. I just want to show every detail I can, because this was well over 100 hours worth of prep time and work, most likely. And if you just take a little bit of time to watch my video, you'll learn from my mistakes and probably save hours and hours and hours and get a better job done. We power washed those walls as hard as we could. I was using a grinder for a little bit, but I started worrying about, that's probably lead-based paint. This is a 1940s house, so I quickly stopped with the grinding on the walls and just went to scraping and power washing. This is the first day I rented the diamond brush. Now in this room here, this epoxy was bound to the concrete much better because there wasn't as much water flooding in this room. So we just scuffed this room for 2 hours with a diamond brush, and then I went with the primer, the actual, I want to say Rust-Oleum primer. You'll see it in the can, and I love that product. Fantastic product for just, when I say primer, that's just before using the epoxy coat. The other concrete binding primer is before quick concrete resurfacer. Okay. This room was more troublesome, more difficult to prep. I put down concrete resurfacer over this, then had to diamond brush it right off, most of it. Now what I do when I try to put the concrete resurfacer down, it's mostly to fill the pits, the cracks, the low spots, the voids, whatnot. So I'll put it down, and then if I don't think it's bonded well, I scraping it up with my shoe or my hand, I'll go right back to the diamond brush and polish that whole floor. It's only an hour or two, and the pits and the holes will still be filled in, but any loose stuff off the flat surfaces will be polished back off again. So you'll leave, you'll have a nice floor to work with. You have to brush and squeegee and broom and blow and wipe. Try to get that floor clean. Well, I'm tired here. 6 o'clock in the morning. When you rent that Home Depot tool and you're cheap, you want to keep it overnight and then return it in the morning. Here's our prepped garage floor. You see the white, clean concrete. And you'll see in one of the videos, I hope I show the 2-part epoxy products, the blue and yellow can. It's a Quikrete brand, crack filler. That worked very, very well.
I think I hope I got some good
tube of crack filler.
It was like miscolored and
I think it was a 2-part epoxy, and I like that because it dries fast.
White.
And I filled in some of the pits, but this is after we diamond brushed it again, so I scratched off any of the extra stuff. Is this before we recapped? This is before we recapped. Anyway, I recapped to fill all these little pits, holes like that, and the extra cracks that I didn't get with the epoxy.
I'm gonna mix up a 5-gallon bucket.
We started in March, April 1st.
I did that
prepped for 2-3 days. I was going to do it, and then, we went on to other things. I couldn't get the product or whatnot, so I started working on outdoor projects. We came back to this, I think, in October.
Just to fill in the pits.
And then when it's got colder outside, we can now work inside on some stuff. I wanted to get the outside projects done, so came back and re-prepped in October.
I think it's prepped
two more times.
Very well
with the diamond brush.
polycuramine or polyasparate coating. I'm not going to go with epoxy paint this time. I've done epoxy paint 5 or 6 times. It's okay, but it fails after 5 years or so, or a couple years if you're hard on it. So we're going to try the more expensive stuff. I think it's $360 for 1,000 square feet of Rust-Oleum Polycuramine. I haven't seen any other brands that I can get locally. I've seen that Lagera.
Okay, so let's watch some video and I'll come back.
But I wasn't very impressed with the. Looked okay, but I'll have to get along the edges with. That's how it was before. I should have closed the door when I was scrubbing. I'll have to get this just by hand. Wire brush or something. An angle grinder with light wire wheel along the edges. We'll paint it and then we'll put a kick plate up. Okay. Zup. All right, we're back at work. Hold this damn thing.
I evaluate some of the value of it with the size of the lot. How much property do you get with it too? Right, you're not going to need this for a minute. Stay on the filming.
Sure, I got enough water. Okay, good.
Looks like it.
See, I can't tilt this damn thing. Son of a bitch! Give me a zip tie or something. What's the deal with this damn thing? Just won't stick. Now I need WD-40. Use some WD-40, yeah? But see, hit a little water right here. A little water right here. Can't slide it. It's kind of cold. All right, just a little bit. You got the... What did I just say?
You can't get the angle quite right.
What did I say a second ago?
WD-40.
Oh, no. There we go. Okay, so there is, what, 2 or 3 passes, and we'll get
8.
like that.
You see getting on the camera.
Yeah, we'll just cut it right back. This junk, alright, we're just going to have to cut all of it. We'll leave, got the pits, still in the pits. And I think those will hold, but we've got to cut all that
And you
work.
do another layer anyway.
About $25 of material, hour or 2 labor. I got the pits, but I got no adhesion. I got no adhesion. I don't know what went wrong, to tell you the truth. Some of the sparks we hit thick enough. So I'm a little discouraged and worried. We've got nothing. I can't leave this. I mean, for crying out loud. The pits are okay, which is what I want to do.
It's actually showing them, Bill. You can see them filled in.
We've got to make a decision whether we're going to just paint this or try to do the resurfacer. I think I might just cut it back down. The pits are covered and that's it. I'd like to level this a little more, but leveling isn't as important as adhesion. I got to cut it. There's just no question about it. We just got to cut it down to the concrete again and
Go from there.
go from there. All right.
Okay, so here is after we have put down the Nucrete concrete resurfacer, which I didn't like that product as well as the Quickcrete brand. 25-pound box Nucrete resurfacer didn't bond well enough to this concrete. So I'm going back over it with the diamond brush and cut all the loose stuff off. Now, I did fill in the pits and the voids and the cracks mostly, which is what I wanted to do. I think I used the concrete primer in the little holes because the diamond brush isn't going to get in there. So after I washed them out, I brushed concrete primer in the holes, and that's how I could tell that works. That product works very well. It really bonded in the pits, in the cracks, in the voids. So I'll do that next time over the whole floor. I'll use concrete primer in between the base concrete and my recap surface. Now I spread this Nucrete 25-pound box over this 300 square foot garage because I was just trying to get the pits and the voids, but it was so thick. I was pressing down as hard as I could, and I couldn't just get it in the pits, so it covered much more of the floor. But The box says skim coat to 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. Well, skim coat ain't gonna hold. You know what I mean? If you just got barely sand on top of your smooth concrete surface, obviously that's not gonna hold. So you basically gotta brush it. When they say skim coat, they mean 1/16 of an inch or something. I just didn't want to crawl around on my hands and knees and use the 2-part stuff and spatula it into all the tiny pits in the whole garage. No way, you'd be there for a day and a half doing that. So I used the bag and squeeze it out. Now, what we run into is we just go back with a diamond brush, just scuff off all the loose stuff. No problem. It takes about an hour with a diamond brush to scuff it all back down again. This is back in about April 1st. And then I didn't coat it with this stuff because I thought, you know what, I'm going to be here for 6 more months. I've got to do all these outdoor projects. I don't want to mess up my new floor I'm putting in there, so I didn't epoxy. I came back and re-prepped again in October when it was colder out and time to start doing indoor projects. Okay, let's go back to the video. That's the 4 bags of Quikrete concrete resurfacer recap on top of the tractor there. $25 a bag. I want to say it does 100 square feet. I gotta double check that. I used $500 worth of product to recap that whole driveway. That was the big improvement, the biggest improvement I did in this whole house. $500 made that whole driveway look like a brand new $10,000 driveway. It was fantastic. So we diamond brush off the loose recap stuff. And then we're going to wash it with a hose. I'm going to brush it out with a squeegee. You can use a shop vac, you can use a squeezy, you can use a broom, as long as you get that floor clean, dry, scuffed. I used boards. I boarded up my whole garage inside. I like doing that with garage. Instead of drywall, I use a board. I got the cheap OSB left over from the job site. And you put wood everywhere in the garage. You can hang stuff everywhere. You can put hooks everywhere. That's the tube with the crack filler. That was the stuff. Let's go back to the video.
Maybe one more hose is what we need.
Okay, so I'm going to scuff this first coat I put down. Just a drywall sheet. I think it'll just cut any loose powder off. That dust. I just want to get the loose dust off. And hope the new stuff adheres. We'll find out. Okay, there's where I went too thin. Okay, it's a high spot. Yeah, that's not good adhesion at all. Could rub it off my hand. Damn. If I spent $120 on the new tool, I scuff it all the way down again.
Wow.
It's $120. It's not a lot. I just hate to do it again because I already rented it. But this isn't hit. I don't know about this adhesion.
Even though I'm not a 30-year experienced expert on this, I have done 8 of these floors before. So now you see, that's why I care so much about the prep and why I'm trying so hard, because I've seen what happens when you don't prep good.
I know if I get the diamond brush, I'm gonna use it 8 hours downstairs in the basement.
Hey, what I say? Go get it. Hey, you bring it right there. Come back. Hey,
What are you getting,
you
Bill?
can work it late.
A brush?
Oh, you got nowhere to be. Come on, we gotta go do the work.
No, for real. I need to go pick up my glove. The you come is flat and everything is right for the place for work. I need to go pick it up. It's coming out 5:20. But I need to be there, before the time.
Huh? Okay, so Home Depot, 1 day rental, blah blah blah. 80 bucks for the prep tool, 50 bucks for the polishers, so that's 130 bucks. I declined the damage protection. 135 bucks. We might get it back in 4 hours, so it might be 120 bucks. So 207, it's now 315. It's 1 hour. So, not too long to strip all this off. 90% done. But I did brush in primer into these, and I believe that's holding good. Maybe not. I think the primer helped. I think the primer helped a lot. So it depends on what kind of profession we're going for. Boy, I love the scratching. I don't know if you can see that scratching of the concrete. That scratching that blades do is it should promote paint adhesion. I'm going to still etch again. I'm going to go back right now and get etcher. You see the low little puddles of stuff. So is it worth doing resurfacer to try to get a smoother, leveler surface and risk adhesion? Or do we just go with the polycuramine, polyasperic, polyurea floor coating? And that'll probably smooth it out some by itself. Why is this dry? Okay. Why is that dry? See, that's the... No. You shouldn't be able to pick that off with your fingernail. I gotta scratch all that off. But the crack, I'm happy with. Scratch those more. At least our cracks are filled and sanded smooth. I'm gonna get this top coating off. So another hour, we'll scratch it, we'll clean it. I'll probably just go buy etcher for the fun of it. And I think I gotta look at my Amazon shipping. I think it's gonna take extra days to get my sauce. Today is Wednesday. I want to get this quick. We got hotness Friday or Saturday, Sunday, 70 degrees. Now it's 50. I want a smooth surface, but not at the sacrifice of adhesion. I did resurface her at the 5 Mile house. All I did was power wash and scrub the concrete. It was really spalled up. It was the old 1950 concrete versus my brand new addition to my garage. I had a 4-car garage. And it worked very well. It held up for years and years. I was there 10 years. And at the oil spot where the car was, it flaked off from there. And maybe where I put my jack stands down, scraped them, maybe scraped away there. And then when I was using a nailer, I was punching out the concrete. Can't blame it there. I chipped out the concrete. But the concrete resurfacer held very well. I can't complain at all. But I think we just averted a disaster here with this tool. I had to take it back up. Something went wrong. That was not the adhesion we want. We had 40 degrees outside, but I left the door open with the heat on in the house, blowing 65-degree heat in here. So I don't think it was a heat problem. I had scratched it. So you saw the dry white concrete. I put hot water down. I used the 3 quarts of water to this 25-pound box. But I think online it said 90 square feet max for either a 25-pound box or a 40-pound box. So this is 320 square feet. That's ridiculous out of spec. Too thin. But this box, I'm going to call them and complain. I'm going to call corporate. Skim coat to 1/2 inch. So all I wanted to do was put the skim coat down just to fill the pits. I wanted to squeeze it hard enough to fill the pits and the cracks. And it was too thick. I was pushing as hard as I could with the squeegee. And it was too thick. I didn't want to add more water. I already went just past what there. It's a 2.5, using 2.5 to 3/4. I used 3 right in between there, or at least 3 per 25. Use less water to achieve higher strengths. I just did not get adhesion, so I didn't want to wait to put this down and wait 2 hours for this to dry. But you betcha I'm going to use that next time. If I go with resurfacer, I will mix the Elmer's glue, roll that down, and we'll try again maybe. I got the stuff. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to clean it. I'm going to glue it. I'm going to wait 2 hours. I'm going to use my scuffer down in the basement, and I'm going to go with the recap again. I'm going to do it. Here we go. Okay, so Michigan wet basement, sump pumps, 1,000 square feet. That's a lot of prep time. Diamond brush tool. What time did we start this? We did the garage for 2 hours. I'd take what's his face home. I don't know. It's a lot of time. 2 hours in the garage again. Probably 2 hours over here, 2 hours over there, an hour over there. Maybe I did 5-6 hours. We scuffed up most of the epoxy. I think anything that was loose.
Can you wrap up this cord?
The diamond brush?
Yeah.
Look around. I think we're done.
I want to say it.
Oh, I know you want to say.
No,
I know you want to say. You want to say we're done at 1 o'clock.
No,
Tim.
I give you at least 8 hours, bro.
Oh, shoot, 8.
I don't ever.
That's half a day.
We've had short days.
Yeah,
We don't do that too often.
we're making up for that. That's ugly. I want to cut that out. We power washed the walls as hard as we could. I washed all the way up into the joists. I don't think that's a pressure treated baseboard, but it'll dry. Those walls will be easy to recoat. I'll just hit a nice white recoat. This, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to hit this with multiple coats. I'll use an oil-based primer. I don't think I'll use Drylock. Drylock's a stupid concept for the inside of basement walls. Water's always gonna win. You're never gonna hold water there. That's not even possible. So it just flakes off. I'll use the oil-based primer and some kind of paint. We'll try to blast it with the propane heater. I blasted the corners, the bottom corners with the power washer. I think that really helped. I was going to do an angle grinder all the way around, but forget that. Power washer did it. With that diamond brush. I hope. Don't know how far to go or stop, but I think once you get down to, if you can get it in the camera, scratching it. It's got scratches. It's got scratches in the camera. So. That torch off. See that scratches? I think that's what's going to hold the paint. I hope. And now I got it. I got it good. So this was 2 coats of epoxy. First coat was, this is Rust-Oleum epoxy garage floor paint that was done back in either 04 or 08. That's 12 years ago, 15 years ago. And then the idiot contractor I had did it again a year ago. He did a horrible job. I think the basement flooded a day after he did it, so it didn't bond well at all. But the bottom coat, now all I did was power wash before. So anyway, diamond brush. I know it'll hold up better. I'm going to use the Polycuramine stuff this time. Power wash some water right into these sockets. I'm going to test it. Okay. It's working. Sump pump float is stuck. It's gonna flood again tonight. I gotta get a new float. I'm gonna replace the PVC drain lines. I'll put white wood, trim wood, I think, maybe some Trex decking boards on the walls, loose screwed. That'll attach to the electrical and plumbing. We'll probably pull this stuff out of the way. We'll shoot some white up in the ceiling, probably. Is that washed out? It's gotta be wiped off, or?
You get it off? Push it off there.
Focus tension.
Was it off while it's on there, or?
Yeah. I I need to stain the stairs. Now this one, we're going to skip this room. I just cut it yesterday for an hour. And we'll see how it bonds to the light scuff. This is what your 4-inch drains look like after 20 years. It's like rock hard. You're not draining that out. So I'm just going to replace all this with some nice looking new cheap stuff. Take back this dry lock, I think. Yeah, make sure you don't spray the water in the electric motor.
Maybe.
You spray it up in there?
I just sprayed it off. I didn't try to go anywhere. Close it off in the bottom.
Hey, why'd that sump pump turn off itself?
Wipe off what?
I sure sweats. Okay, so this is our prepped garage floor after resurfacer and then scuff back down. So got scratches in it. Still got some pits. I don't know. I'm just gonna blow and vacuum and then I'll go with this Polycuramine because I'm not gonna try to, I don't know, maybe I'll go back over with some patch, some bonding adhesive, crack filler. Crack filler did its thing. That's strong. That's prepped as much as humanly reasonably possible.
Okay, I forgot the video for a while. We got the basement. Okay, we used the concrete prep floor polisher, scrape the concrete. After we used the removal tool, get the epoxy up. Well, concrete prep stripper worked pretty good. We got most of it. Okay, we've got bin shellac primer on the walls, and then a dry lock and stream, super thick stuff. I don't know, it's supposed to be that way, but the handprints are terrible on it, so we're gonna go semi-gloss. We're gonna hit it with a quick coat of semi-gloss for durability. Okay, then get the plumbing. Okay, sump pump. We're using the old 90 union, 1.5 to 1.25 to 1.5 union. It's 90s. It's 90s. Get some more unions, even though I got quite a few. Okay, a couple 90s, a couple more unions. Come through here. Come back over for now. I'll cut straight over with this. I might come up. No. We'll stay level. Come over here. Go to 90. And we'll do a 45. We'll come down to here. I need a 1.5 T. Couple 90s, couple 45s, inch and a half. Okay, we're gonna come over here with 2-inch sink. Probably looking into the 4. Okay, we're gonna get into the 4 toilet. I got the streets to go to the wall. Need to look for wall wood. This nonsense is gone. These are gonna go straight over. This is gonna go straight over and down to a 4-2. We either do separate ones. I need an outlet, which I got in the box right around here. I need a conduit, electrical box, conduit, electrical box, sealer at the top, RTV at the top of the 220. Okay, so I'll come down with 2. I got lots of 2 stuff. I could run the kitchen sink right down in the corner. If I run the 4. Run the 4 over there, that's all it has to go to. It could come over here. Go down with the kitchen sink. It's really not a problem doing that. Okay? We turn a lot of stuff. Need hangers for 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch for the rafters. We got a couple contact valves. We'll get some hangers. I can go 90 or 45 on this fuse wall. Okay.
If you ever seen the original Rust-Oleum video, that chick that puts down the sprinklers is having the time of her life. The expression on her face is Christmas morning. It made a big impact on my life because I just want to be as happy as that woman was. Sprinkling sprinklers. I don't want to get pain in my phone. I'm gonna make an air cannon and shoot stuff into the ceiling, fall and rain. Very subjective and so you want to kind of get it right. Okay. Okay, this is dry. This is the stuff I put down 24 hours ago. There's the stuff I just put down now. We'll see if the color evens up. I touched up here, which came out fantastic. "24 hours ago I shot this stuff down. Now here's this blend. I'm hoping I can just come back with bin shellac to recut in the lower 2 bricks. 1 brick, 2 bricks. Oop, I gotta do sprinkles, and I'm gonna leave that. Man. If I move this table now, you know what? I got enough on the roller. I can cut it in. Let's just do it.
get it all done. But I go any sand in the water. I'd like to see at least. I can't believe how much material on this whole roller. Alright. This feels a lot better. Get this done. Now material. Added.
the list. Okay. Now,
Should be 1, 2.
I think the fumes are getting me.
Phone's probably gonna be wrecked. Alright, so hopefully we'll just clear this and it'll even it out a little bit, and then that's gonna look good over there. I know how I did it. I hope the walls come back white again when I cut them in with bin shellac. I think I did a good job at the bottom of the stairs over to here. That works. I got everything. I'll leave the lights on. That looks awesome. Okay, I don't know if we got a disaster going or what. Hopefully it holds. So there, that's gonna come out good. It's got that, I'm putting it on super thick. Over here, didn't put it on thick enough, but I'm worried about running out of product.
Time on it, brother, though.
No. Can't tell if it's too thin or too thick. Shit, see that? That's not, it's bleeding right there. It's not sticking. Damn. We'll video this. Video this. Go the sideways.
Going on time limit. Pushing down on that thing, it's coming out of the brush. Bubbling up right there.
Okay, we're back to the garage floor. We primed last night, let it dry 6, 7, 8 hours. We're going to the single pouch kits, 180 fluid ounces. No way you can spread that little of material over 500 square feet. It's extremely difficult to spread this stuff out. It's taken a half hour to do 16 by 5 and 8 by 5. Whatever that is, 150 square feet. So stuff sucks. Wish I had the 5-gallon pail stuff. Okay, we've got the Rust-Oleum Polycuramine floor paint mumbo jumbo. Applied it on, I put it on too thick over there. You see the color difference. This is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to do 500 square feet. So I wasted this much product. We went crazy with the chips. Chips are expensive. They're 12 bucks per bag. We went through, I don't know, 50 bucks worth of chips. Man, my guy did a horrible job sprinkling over there. Horrible. Gotta work fast. It's very difficult. It's a small amount of product you've got to spread out over, 450 square feet. So
we're gonna come over here, we're gonna etch these two rooms. I'm gonna try to heavily etch these two rooms. And we're gonna do the, I'm gonna use the primers. Rust-Oleum Recoat Primer, no sanding, no grinding. That's if you got this kind of floor. Well, that's the kind of floor I got. So I went over it with a diamond brush for 2 hours. Hey, it's bonded good with the concrete, so I'll leave what's there and we'll recoat it. I'm gonna etch. This concrete needs to be etched, and then we gotta hit it with a fire really hard and get this dampness out of the ground. Dampness here, damp. Just comes in from the walls like a mother. Hey, what's going on over here? Hey, what's somebody doing up there? Don't be touching that. You go outside, man, you'll run the water all over my floor. Going everywhere? Going everywhere? Okay, here we are, October 8th or so. Friday night, 3 a.m., Saturday morning. I've just spent about 6 hours sweeping, blowing, scrubbing, brushing, rinsing, squeegeeing, brushing, rinsing, squeegeeing, brushing, rinsing, squeegeeing, till I'm blue in the face. I am blue in the face. So we've put down concrete resurfacer. Did not adhere to this part, even though I've scratched it with a diamond brush 2 or 3 times. It's got scratches visible in the concrete, but you can kind of see there's still a glaze to the concrete. It's not like that. Or, I don't know what else you can do. This is ground. It's ground as much as you can. It's not scratched up. It needs to be like 120, 150 grit sandpaper. And I couldn't get it. With the diamond brush tool from Home Depot, you see the scratches, but whatever. It's as good as I'm going to get it. This looks like it adhered pretty good over here. We used Clean and Etch Rust-Oleum product. I think we should have used a lot more muriatic acid and just fizzled all this concrete floor a lot better. Died of fumes, and then at least the product would have worked, stuck better once the next guy put it down after they cleared our bodies out. But it's acceptable. I've scraped the little pits off with a scraper. I brushed it. I broomed it. I washed it with a regular hose, not a power washer. I squeegeed all the water. I'm having a terrible time drying this. This has been blowing. High-speed fans blowing for hours, and it's just, it'll dry right where the fan is. That's it. It's just really hard to get this basement dry. I got 3 windows open with 2 high-speed fans blowing out. I didn't do anything, so got the fans on the floor, but scratched the concrete. We diamond brushed it. We're going with the resurfacer to try to flatten out any low spots. It's solid. It's good. I walked around on my hands and knees, polished off any loose sand resurfacer over there. I had to pretty much brush it all, wipe it all up. I had to wash all this off. This was all concrete resurfacer, real thin. It just washed off, wiped off. It's stuck right there a little bit. That's about it. Over here it's stuck a little bit. I'm leaving a little bit. I wiped it with a terry cloth towel. I could wipe it all off if I really scrubbed at it, but if it doesn't wipe up real quick, it's
good enough to epoxy paint over, polyasparine over. I like to fill in those pits with something. I'm hungry, I'm tired. I need to wipe this whole floor with wax and grease remover. And paint. Progression over perfection. So I'm going to try to move towards that because I'm just way too much of a perfectionist. I've got to get stuff done. Progression. Getting the job done perfect is important, but the first thing you got to do is get the job done. Otherwise, it doesn't get done. So here we go. I'm going to get brackets for that. Brackets for the laundry tub. Bam, bam, bam. Screw it right to here, and I'm going to put another one down low up to the bottom. I think the top bracket's going to be strong enough. It'll be just fine. I had to repair, clean out the sump pump. Okay, so I could kill myself for using that cheap paint on the walls instead of the scuff defense. That's just the dumbest thing I did on this project. Money was tight at the time, but this is a disaster. This just won't stay clean. All right. Tiny footprints of dust.
Okay, there you have it. I'll try to do a better job editing once I figure out how to use these programs better, but hopefully watching this will save you from some of my mistakes and give you some tips and tricks on how to do your project better and save you time. There's the Rocksolid Rust-Oleum 370 for the two thing. I think I paid $200 off of Amazon before the pandemic or during the pandemic. And you'll see I used the matte clear on that the basement laundry room. I used a matte clear. And then in the garage, I used the higher gloss clear, regular clear with sand in it for traction. So you'll see the differences I got in that laundry room in the basement. I got a little uneven coverage and stuff because that was the first batch I put down. I should have used bonding primer before the recap. Now I think that bonded well. It'll be just fine. But I should have used the primer. That primer works fantastic. And then you'll see in that room, the fireplace room, you get a much better, that's the finish you want. That's no clear coat. In that room, see that, boy, I think once I cleared it, it looked better than these pictures. But you'll see in that fireplace room, the shine, and the finish is very even and very shiny. It's perfect. There's no clear coat. I just think I put the material down a little thicker, and then I primed that room. So definitely would recommend the primer before the epoxy coat. And that is clear coated in that garage there. I don't know if this is before or after the clear coat in these pictures. I'll try to put more on. But I did clear coat with sand in the garage. Primer was used in this garage. And it allows for the top coat to go farther also. That's why I did it, because I was running tight on material and money at this time. That's the best finished room right there. I used the primer. Fireplace room. It had the best finish. I don't know how I got the shine, just by the way I applied it, got that super shine. This room didn't get the super shine. Strange. Now I used the matte clear. I must use the matte clear. Peace out. In this room. So I'm going to the game now, and hope you like the video. I don't know how to start a channel, but maybe I'll start a channel. Hope you liked what you saw. Click on comment, share, like. That'll help me, promote the video more. Thank you very much. Post-edit, I'm just going to brag one more time about the plumbing job on this house. Holy smokes, look at that. That is amateur, high-level, do-it-yourselfer, first-timer. I just cut all the old stuff out. At first, I was super scared. I was like, I got to put it back just as the last guy did it. It was hodgepodged in with PVC over to galvanized, over to copper, over to black pipe. It was ridiculous. Then it just clicked on me. I said, stop being scared. Just do it right. Just cut all the old stuff. I don't need to copy. Bam! I just did it. I want mad props for this. I want a bunch of thumbs up, likes, shares, just for this stinking plumbing job. That inspector can inspect that all day long. Just looking at it again. That's a $10,000 plumbing job for $1,000 bucks.